Welcome back to another Short Legacy League where we have Nick Fit versus Temur Delver. A huge thank you to the Patreon supporters who are helping the league and YouTube channel. If you would like to become a supporter, please click on the link in the show notes. If you've been enjoying our content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Ali's kept 7 and Hunter's kept 6 being on the play. Welcome to a match that is as old as Legacy itself, except it was called Canadian Threshold back in the day. Now it's evolved into what we see here is Temur Delver and lots of iterations in between those since the initial Canadian Threshold and this deck now. So very excited to have Ali on the channel. He was in town, so we got to snag him for the night and have him play some Legacy with us. And we got a great deck from him. It's Nick Fit, which is something that he is known for. It does run 4 Veteran Explorers. It has 3 Baleful Strix still, just for style points. 4 Orcish Bowmasters, Tireless Tracker, 2 Uros, a Shieldrig, an Emrakul the Promised End, a Grist, 2 Liliana the Last Hopes, a Jace, a Vivian, Monsters Advocate, and a Karn Liberated. Gotta say, I'm pretty excited to see all of those cards in one deck. I'm a big fan of Karn Liberated, as I was a Tron player in Modern, and actually how I met Ali was at an RCQ when we were both playing Tron. And then I'm a big fan of Emrakul the Promised End, love me some Baleful Strix, and he also is playing 4 Brainstorms, 2 Fatal Pushes, a Shieldred's Edict, 4 Cabal Therapies, 2 Innocent Bloods, 1 Lord Revealed, and 3 Pernicious Deeds in the main. It's a very exciting deck to see. So we're in for a treat here with an old classic with some new style and flavor in it versus basically an old classic verse with new style and flavor in it as well. And we're sure to see some pretty cool games here, I'm sure. Got some of the introduction out, and we actually are in some actual gameplay with a Bowmaster on the stack and a Brainstorm in response. And looks like we're going to see a Volcanic Island, a Ponder, and a Force of Will from Hunter, and we'll see if what he's going to put back on top of his deck, and it's going to be the Volcanic Island and the Wasteland. So those will go back on top of his deck, and he'll get to keep those other cards that we saw off the Brainstorm. It's a little difficult to keep up with the hand just because they are playing top-down mode, and I don't have hand cameras as of yet, but one day we'll get there. So what we can see is a Force of Will. Looks like a Ponder and a Brainstorm in his hand as well. That Bowmaster resolving, and we got that Orc Army coming into play. We'll see a Cabal Therapy and see if he is able to name something in the blind here or not. So he does get Lightning Bolt, which is pretty good. You can see that he has a Force of Will, he has a Questing Druid, as well as a Ponder in hand. So we do have that hand available to us now, and that Dragon's Rage Chandler has Delirium and is swinging over for 3 against Ali. See a Ponder from Hunter here, and there is still a Orcish Bowmaster on the battlefield, so it will trigger once, and it looks like off the Ponder he sees a Portent, a Wasteland, and a Mishra's Bauble, and he's going to take that Portent. So another trigger off of that Bowmaster that we were discussing, and that will probably be the end of his turn. Oh, there's a Wasteland, so we could potentially see a Seek the Beast at the end of Hunter's, at the end of Ali's end step. Ali plays a Verdant Catacombs here. He has a Fatal Push as well as a Pernicious Deed. Pernicious Deed is such a house in Legacy right now because it cleans up the artifacts off of Saga as well as Urza Saga itself. Beanstalks are still illegal in this format, so it can also hit that. We are going to see the Fatal Push on the Dragon's Rage Chandler. He is going to choose to Seek the Beast in response to at least get a trigger off of that Dragon's Rage Chandler, potentially trying to find a Force of Will or something along those lines. He finds a Mishra's Bauble and a Polluted Delta. So if he wants to burn that Force of Will and he has it in his hand, he does not, and the Dragon's Rage Chandler goes to the graveyard. So we'll probably see an attack here from Ali, at least picking up 2 damage off of Hunter. A deck of a million cuts against a deck of a million cuts until the House of Veteran Explorer comes out. Okay, main phase, Orcish Bowmaster to pick up an extra point of damage. Actually, 2 damage there, 1 at the face, and then 2 more off of the Orc army. So Hunter can play both cards that he did get off of Seek the Beast, which is pretty good for him. Probably see him fetch and pick up a Tropical Island, so he can play that Questing Druid that's on an adventure, and then he'll also get to play that Bauble. But wouldn't be too wise to use that at the moment, just because there are 2 Bowmasters out, and we'll see a Wasteland on that Underground Sea from Ali. He does pick up a Brainstorm, and at the moment, not knowing what's in hand, we'll just probably cast a Brainstorm here and see what we pick up. Looks like a Veteran Explorer, Polluted Delta, and a Bayou. So what he chooses to put back, it's going to be the Polluted Delta. Nope, it's going to be the Pernicious Deeds that are currently in his hand, and he can just play the Bayou and draw one of those deeds and then shuffle the other one away if he needs to. We'll see an attack for 2. Not willing to give up either one of the Bowmasters to a block, and then we'll see a Veteran Explorer come out. So Hunter's going to give that a read. Veteran Explorer from Weatherlight originally. When it goes to the graveyard from play, each player can search their library for 2 basic lands and put them in the battlefield untapped. It's a pretty cool card. I got to play with this when I was a kid, and we didn't really play with it that much, but it was around kind of thing. We didn't think it was that good at the time because we wanted to go get our dual lands. But we will see a Force Will pitching a Ponder, and we'll get a trigger off of that Questing Druid that's in play. So not a fan of having the Ali ramp, and then looks like Hunter already has his 1 basic island out. So not wanting to let that go. Hunter did just draw a Delver of Secrets. That's a pretty cool Kai Salvatore altar on the checklist card. For Hunter had all 4 of those made for his deck. So it's a really cool. If you guys, highly recommend checking out Kai Salvatore's website. I'll link it in the show notes below. I don't know if these are show notes. I guess these would just be YouTube notes or description or something along those lines. And then we see a fan favorite, Liliana the Last Hope, and see it uptick and take out that Delver. That's what she was made for. And we'll see a pass back out for more than likely. And that's a 3/3 Questing Beast at this point. Not something you really want to play around with when you have your Bowmasters and your Orc army out. Hunters definitely want to get that off the battlefield quick and see if he found another way through. It must be a cantrip, because he was thinking about using that blue mana. No, it's another Delver of Secrets, so he's just pumping up that Questing Druid at the moment, and he's attacking for 4 at the Liliana, and we'll see that Orc army disappear. See a fetch from Ali with to go pick up a Tropical Island off that Polluted Delta. Another uptick on the Liliana the Last Hope, taking out that other Delver. And now we are staring down some Bowmasters versus a Questing Druid. And he has a Pernicious Deed available, as well as it looks like a 2nd mana he can play. Yes, a Boseiju. No need for that in this match. And that looks like it'll be his turn. See if Hunter's able to draw his way out of this with a Murktide or something along those lines. An attack for 4 again to the Liliana. Slowly but surely knocking these Bowmasters out. But with that Pernicious Deed in play, they were on their way out anyway if he absolutely has to hit the nuke button on this thing. Blue mana and a Brainstorm from Ali. We'll see what he picks up off of this. It's a Bowmaster, a Jace, and a Polluted Delta. So I imagine he'll probably take the Jace here. He may Brainstorm with that Jace, and maybe not. Not entirely sure. But it looks like we're going to see a downtick on that Liliana, and he's going to be able to pick up another Veteran Explorer, or not another one, but the same one that got Force of Will earlier, and it is back in play now to block that Questing Druid. 2 mana, we'll see a Seek the Beast again, as well as a trigger on the Questing Druid that's already in play, spiking up to another going up to a 5/5. And then the Questing Druid on the adventure, a Lightning Bolt. He could bolt at end step and take out the Orcish Bowmaster, which would then allow him to, or he could bolt the Liliana and get that off the battlefield. I think that'd probably be the right play here. We'll see what he does. He's taking just a moment to think through his options here. We'll see a Questing Druid come out. He really needs to be careful flooding his board here with that Pernicious Deed out. And then we'll see a Bolt on the Liliana, the Last Hope. And now he is open for business in terms of being able to attack in. Attacking too quickly, though, would lead to the Veteran Explorer being sacked and Ali picking up some lands. I think the damage is already done, though, with him already having 5 mana available. I think it's just attacking through all of this and making him use that Pernicious Deed right now. So Veteran Explorer will block. It's going to go to the graveyard. Ali's going to pick up an island and a swamp off of that. And it may be time for Jace. It looks like it's Jace mana. And still has enough mana open to pop the deed if he needs to. That is Jace. We're going to see him Fate Seal Hunter here. And he's going to see a Stern Dismissal, which returns a creature enchantment up to the opponent's hand. Yeah. So he could hit the Prismatic, or not the Prismatic, but the Pernicious Deed. Wouldn't really make too much sense as Ali can sacrifice it in response. So he has a Stern Dismissal, and it looks like another Questing Druid in his hand. So he has plenty of card selection. He just needs to not play too much into the board here. Again, with that Jace on the battlefield, a Pernicious Deed, available mana to take out these 2 Druids. I think Hunter should probably attack the Jace here and see if he can get... Alright, never mind. So we're going to Seek the Beast again, getting his triggers on the Questing Druids. And we'll see what we pick up off of those 2, which is like a Force of Will and a Dragon's Rage Chandler. You play the Dragon's Rage Chandler, that'll pump him again. He's just really flooding this board on this deed. And we'll see it triggers again on those Druids. And it looks like everything's going at Jace. And I think we're going to see a board clear here. Yes, we are. So Pernicious Deed for 2. That'll sacrifice everything. He can use that Mishra's Bauble to take a peek at Ali's top card, which is another Orcish Bowmaster. The plus side is Hunter will get to draw that card before Ali picks up that Bowmaster. So that's a good thing. Ali does have another Pernicious Deed. He's going to brainstorm off this Jace. See what he picks up here. It's like a Shieldred, a Veteran Explorer, and a Misty Rainforest. Very much in control of this game now with that Shieldred getting ready to come down. Not too much that that Hunter can do if he doesn't have a Force of Will for it right here. Misty Rainforest, and there is the Shieldred of the Apocalypse, which will end this game on her own very quickly. There's also a Bowmaster in hand that he could take advantage of. Bowmastering if Hunter were to find a cantrip here. So it takes 2 damage off the Shieldred. Looks like he's got a Daze, Stern Dismissal, and a Murktide. He did find the Murktide. I believe that might be too late, though, because the Jace can just bounce that Murktide during Ali's turn. We'll see a Questing Druid come into play, and then a Murktide triggering that Questing Druid, putting a 1/1 counter on it, and then it looks like there's going to be enough for an 8/8 Murktide as well. So that's pretty cool. And we'll see a Bowmaster in response to the trigger on the Questing Druid, and that Questing Druid does not gain that counter. But we do have a Murktide out with 5 counters on it, but again, we can just see that get bounced at the beginning or before combat on Ali's side. And then we can see an attack for 4, 5, 6 damage, and then it'll be 2 additional damage on from him drawing a card. Baleful Strix, he's going to draw another card, gain 2 more life. This has got to be it right here. So, yep, we'll see a downtick on the Murktide from the Jace, and a total swing for 6, putting Hunter to 1. He'll draw, and that'll be game. If you've been enjoying our content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Game number 2, now that we've seen both deck lists, we can take a peek at the sideboards to see what both players might bring in. On Ali's side, he's running 2 Fairy Macabres and Ugin the Spirit Dragon, Cling to Dust, Surgical Extraction, Veil of Summer, 3 Assassin's Trophies, a Sheoldred's Edict, Force of Vigor, 3 Mind Breaks, and an additional Precious Deed to round out a 4 total copies of that. And this matchup is really good. Along with the Sheoldred's Edict and the Assassin's Trophies being able to handle the Murktides pretty handily. And then top end Ugin Spirit Dragon is great. From Hunter's side, he's running 3 Pyroblasts, a Surgical, 1 Unholy Heat, 4 Force Negations, 2 Meltdowns, a Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Counterbalances, and 2 Blood Moons. It's not very much that Hunter can bring in here. Potentially a Pyroblast, potentially the Surgical. I don't think Force Negations, with this being a creature-heavy deck, is probably something he wants to do. But we did just see an Innocent Blood from Ali, so there might be a potential for that, as well as the Edict effects. Also the Pernicious Deeds, too. So there may be a case point for that. I'm by no means a Delver expert, but now that we're in this game, we saw a turn 1 Delver from Hunter, and we saw a turn 1 Innocent Blood from Ali. So they're card for card here. So we've got a Bowmaster on the stack, and we're going to see a Brainstorm in response, and we'll see what Hunter picks up. It's going to be a Scalding Tarn, a Lightning Bolt, and a Pyroblast, so we were correct about him bringing that in. He's going to put a Force of Will and a Tropical Island back on top of his library, and he does have the Bolt if he needs it for that Bowmaster, which he may have been waiting for it to come into play before he casts any more cantrips, because he did see that earlier, or read that earlier, I should say, at the end of Ali's turn. So we've got an attack for 2 here. Hunter's just going to take it, and we'll see a Cabal Therapy. All right, we're going to see a fetch here. More than likely going to see a Lightning Bolt on that Bowmaster, and we did. And he got a Volcanic Island off of that fetch. So he's going to name Murktide, and he does hit it. And then there's 2 Force of Wills left in this deck. See if he's going to choose to... Oh, he has another Cabal Therapy. So he's going to Cabal Therapy again. He's going to name Force of Will this time. And both of those are gone as well now. So Hunter with just a Pyroblast in his hand against a fairly non-blue deck, with the exception of Uros and Brainstorms. But there is an Uro in the sideboard. Looks like he's probably going to sacrifice this Orc after a combat to get that Pyroblast out of his hand, and then he'll be free to cast Uro without it being counterspelled. So that'll be pretty cool. So he's going to cast the Uro into the Pyroblast. Okay. No response, and we'll see the Uro go back to the graveyard. I guess that makes sense for Hunter not to waste it on that, but to waste it on the next go-around. He does find a Dragon's Rage Chandler, and I believe it is turned on with a land, an instant, a creature, and an artifact. So yes, it is Delirious, I should say. The Baleful Strix in hand, he could use... Alright, so he's just going to sacrifice it now and use it to name the Pyroblast. Hunter's just going to target the Underground Seed just so he can get a trigger off the Dragon's Rage Chandler to see if it's something he wants to keep or throw into the graveyard. It looked like it was a Brainstorm, so he's going to keep that, and we'll see a Baleful Strix come into play, and Ali will be able to draw another card. He's looking for probably that 4th land to get the Uro, and he did just draw a Vivian Acolyte of Monsters, or something along those lines. What's it called again? Let's see, main deck. Vivian Monsters Advocate, okay? Not an Acolyte. And we'll see a Brainstorm from Hunter, and he's going to keep the Dragon's Rage Chandler on an empty hand, so we know that's what he's going to play here. Pass back over. Still Delirious. See what he finds. Picks up a swamp, so he's able to play the swamp, and he could get that Pernicious Deed down right now while Hunter is Hellbent, and that is what he chooses to do. See if he chooses to pop it right away and not allow Hunter to gain any card advantage off of what he draws. We'll see a fetch for it. Alright, yep, and we're going to see the Pernicious Deed go at the end step. So there's a Brainstorm. Good heads-up play by Ali. Hunter Hellbent again is going to pick up that Murktide off of this Brainstorm. And we'll see an 8/8 Murktide come into play now. Ali doesn't have anything in his hand to deal with that Murktide at the moment, but it looks like he just picked up a Brainstorm. So let's see what he picks up off of these 3 cards he's going to look at in just a moment. It looks like a Sheoldred's Edict, a Bowmaster, and a Lorien Revealed. So he's going to put 2 Bowmasters back on top as they're not needed at the moment. 2 Brainstorms been cast since then. He's going to use a cycle as Lorien Revealed, pick up a Trop, and he's got the Sheoldred's Edict. So he is just drawing straight gas right now, and he's able to deal with another Murktide. So all creatures have been dealt with that Hunter has put into play off of his previous Brainstorms, and Ali's just taking a peek at his graveyard here. Looks like he may be wanting to use his Liliana, the Last Hope, to downtick and pick up a creature out of the graveyard. Hunter is Hellbent, so it looks like we're going to see the Vivian Monsters Advocate, and that's a pretty cool card. If you haven't played Standard with this, that came out in Ikoria, you can see what the card does here. Able to block some Delvers or play creatures off the top of your library as well. So it lets you, on a creature deck, filter through if you pick up a creature off the top, and if not, you can just make a 3/3. And I believe that's probably what he's going to do after he checks the top of his library. And he's going to roll that up, and he's going to create a 3/3 beast, and he can choose if he wants to add reach to it, which he does because I was standing there just paying attention here. So Hunter now has Hardcast Force of Will available to him. And let's see. I think Ali is definitely going to play that Liliana, the Last Hope, and pick up a creature. It looks like he's eyeballing that Baleful Strix there. Making sure he's got enough mana to play around a Daze if need be. He's also checking it because he has the Emrakul Promise in his hand, which also reduces the cost based on each card type is in your graveyard. Attack for 3 over on Hunter, and we're going to see another roll up on this Vivian, and he's going to grab another 3/3 beast. I was able to find some tokens at the last second at the card store, and we'll see a Liliana Last Hope come out, and more than likely downtick to pick up a creature out of the graveyard. And that's what he does. So he's going to mill 2 first, and then he runs over the Bowmaster, and then he picks up a Baleful Strix and plays said Baleful Strix. So we've got both beasts in play now. Hunter is on a very small clock. We'll see a Ponder, and we'll see a Fetch, and then a Orcish Bowmaster in response to the Ponder. So there looks like to be, I don't know if that's lethal or not. So it's 2 damage. That's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. If you've been enjoying our content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below.